Detective Alex Ramirez stood on the outskirts of town, where the remnants of the old highway faded into an expanse of forgotten woods. The Seaside Motel loomed ahead, its neon lights flickering ominously, casting distorted shadows across the peeling far section alley. The sign buzzed erratically, spelling out, "Vacancy," in gnarled, luminous letters. The air was thick with the scent of salt and gasoline, a strange mixture that seemed to resonate with the unraveling mystery at hand. Sarah Milford, a well-loved schoolteacher, had vanished without a trace, leaving behind nothing but questions. Her last known whereabouts implicated the Seaside Motel, a crumbling relic of a bygone era. Her credit card statement confirmed her check-in here, but upon his arrival, the pieces didn't quite fit. The clerk, a surly man marked by deep-set eyes and a perpetual scowl, denied her presence vehemently. All Ramirez had was a logbook filled with scribbles more befitting a child's drawing pad than a record of guests. Determined to unearth the truth, Ramirez insisted on reviewing the security tapes. Hours of grainy footage passed by in a blur, figures slipping in and out, discrete transactions, unidentifiable packages changing hands. It painted a vivid picture of the motel's reputation. And amidst the mundane and the illicit, Sarah appeared, captured by the distant lens of a security camera. She was clutching an overnight bag, her posture tense as she approached room 8, a room that didn't exist according to the clerk or the blueprints. Marching down the narrow corridor himself, Ramirez counted the doors. 7. Only 7. The detective ran his hand along the walls, feeling for secret entrances or hidden mechanisms. But the structure held its secrets closely, offering no clues to the enigma of room 8. It was as if the room had devoured her, leaving behind nothing but echoes of speculation. As Ramirez walked back to the lobby, a chill ran down his spine, a whisper of foreboding that this was no ordinary disappearance. Too many rumors clung to the motel. Locals warned of strange happenings, tales only exchanged in hushed tones over crackling fires or in dimly lit bars. A sense of the uncanny permeated the air, thick with the tapestry of untold stories adrift in shadows. He was stepping into more than a potential crime scene. He was treading into a world where reality frayed at the edges. The night settled heavily over Seaside Motel, the sky a vast stretch of ink dotted with stars that seemed dimmed by the motel's unsettling glow. Inside his car, Ramirez sat amidst files and photographs, each piece of evidence more confounding than the last. The loneliness of the place seeped through the windows, pressing in with an oppressive silence that demanded attention. He pored over the details of Sarah Milford's life. Known for her altruism and dedication to the children at Oak Ridge Elementary, she was the last person anyone expected to simply disappear. But people harbored secrets. Perhaps she did too. The flicker of light drew Ramirez's gaze to the lobby. The clerk's silhouette was visible against the dirty glass, moving about with practiced indifference. On a whim, Ramirez left the solitude of his car and stepped inside, the smell of stale smoke and something musty meeting him with an unwelcoming embrace.
"Back again?" the clerk grumbled, not glancing up from the tattered book spread before him. His fingers traced a fresh entry, overwriting another possibly, further muddying the unintelligible mess.
"I need more than what you've shown me," Ramirez pressed, his voice calm but firm.
"There isn't more to see,"
said the clerk, eyes narrowing. His tone was dismissive, but Ramirez sensed something simmering beneath the surfacier wariness that hinted at more knowledge than he let on.
"What were you afraid of?"
Ramirez asked suddenly, leaning forward. "Who's got you so scared that you're hiding information?" A pause, a fleeting flash of emotion.
"I don't know what you mean."
Thick shadows, Ramirez returned with a resolve forged in persistence. A new plan of action unfurled within his minder thorough search. The motel was small, easily overlooked in such an isolated stretch of land. But something told him the answers weren't far, buried under layers of neglect or hidden within the woods wedged behind the building. Starting with room 1, Ramirez moved in systematic fashion, pausing outside each door, listening, then searching diligently. The old rooms offered nothing but tales of their guests painted in marks of habitation. Scuff marks on floors, forgotten clothing items, half-empty bottles all told stories he deciphered in silence. But it was room 3 that yielded differently. Beneath the bed, a bloody handprint marred the cracked linoleum, small, faded, but unmistakable. His heart thudded against his ribs as he catalogued it, snapping pictures, gathering samples. Progress, an indication this was more than the delusion of a missing piece. Outside again, his curiosity vexed by the silence, Ramirez approached the edge of the woods. A perimeter check tailored by instinct and desperation. He traversed the tangled underbrush, searching for any clue that might unravel the conundrum of Sarah Milford's disappearance. That's when he found it. A path, nearly obscured by vines and scattered leaves. It wound into the forest, guarded by ancient trees. Then he heard it again, the soft keening, unmistakable now. The rhythmic lament echoed in the still air, pulling him forward with eerie allure. Each step was tentative, his senses taut with apprehension, until he saw the shimmer. The reflection of sunlight against a metal object hidden within a tangle of greenery. Moving closer, the form solidified into something familiar, a suitcase, much like the one Sarah had clutched in the video footage. It was worn and tucked away, a secret entangled within nature's arms. Unzipping it, Ramirez's heart sank as he beheld the contents, Sarah's belongings, folded with meticulous gray sweater, a journal, photographs of smiling children. A sudden gust of irony. Had she really planned to disappear, why take these things? Then he saw the note, almost missed amid the disorder. Hastily scribbled letters on crumpled paper, it bore her handwriting, elegant but marked by disjointed haste. It read,
"If you're reading this, it means I've tried everything else. Something is happening here, something beyond comprehension. And if I vanish into the silence, know that I loved, always loved, in fear and in hope. Find me, if you can."
The words gripped him, burning into the fabric of his mind. Whatever haunted Sarah Milford lingered in the air, an invisible phantom whispering through the trees. He followed the path a little further, each step feeling immeasurable, until it widened into a clearing bathed by dappled sunlight. In the center, a dilapidated structure emerged with an unsettling familiarity, another motel room door, standing alone among the forest, rusted over but unmistakably marked with the numerals 8. Ramirez's breath caught, a mix of adrenaline and apprehension quickening his pulse. His hands shook ever so slightly as he approached, driven by Sarah's final plea. Pulling out a flashlight, Ramirez pushed against the door. It gave way with a creak, spilling light into an interior suspended in time. Everything was as it should be. Functioning lamps and freshly laundered sheets spoke of recent inhabitants, though dust played its own contradictions in the corners. The chill of discovery settled over him. This wasn't merely a room, the space defied all reason. It felt like stepping into a realm carved from whispers, an existence woven with threads of spectral mystery. But nothing prepared him for the sight just beyond the nightstand. A journal, identical to the one he'd found in Sarah's suitcase. As he opened it, her last writings filled his senses.
The room changes. It speaks without talking, breathes without living. I hear it singing, luring me deeper, and it's as if I am watching myself from somewhere else.
Ramirez shivered and snapped the book shut. As he turned to leave, his eyes caught movement, a silhouette at the door. He whipped around, heart pounding, to find himself face to face with the clerk.
"You should have left it alone,"
the man warned, his tone hollow. "Heftless weight."
"It's where she is not,"
the clerk said cryptically.
"You're too Lataby moments by years. Time folds here. The room, it takes what it wants."
His mind reeled, snared in a shell of disbelief as the world behind him shimmered, altered. He was leaving, or attempting to, as colors bled from the edges of perception.
"Help her,"
Ramirez urged, but the clerk's response drowned in the thickening void collapsing between them. The last sight before the door closed was the sun, filtering through motley leaves, a haunting reflection of answers unreached. 3 weeks after Detective Alex Ramirez vanished, The county police department continued searching, though leads trickled into dead ends, and the Seaside Motel became a curiosity rather than a focal point. Some claimed to hear whispers, unnerving in their persistence, emanating from the forest edge. And perhaps coincidence wove its fingers through the fabric of rumor, but local children draped tales of a mysterious Room 8 emerging where it should end. The Seaside Motel carried on, a relic wrapped in enigma. The clerk logged visitors with careful indifference, the neon sign hummed its perennial vacancy. And amidst the ever-turning cycle, Sarah Milford's journal found another Riadera new detective, perhaps, driven by unanswered whispers riding the highway winds. In the lore of the town, Ramirez became another mystery claimed by the motel's storied past, our tale of exploration told by horizon's glow. And somewhere, through a doorway etched in time beyond understanding, Sarah Milford waited, as a familiar song threaded through the era loop played beyond mortal grasp. Forever left at the cusp of resolution, within the solemn silence of a poetry unwritten. The end.